The dark side of samurai rituals. The image of the samurai has long been associated with honor, discipline, and martial prowess. These warriors of feudal Japan are often romanticized in literature and film, depicted as paragons of virtue and courage. However, beneath the surface of their strict code of conduct, known as Bushido, lies a darker, more complex reality. The rituals and practices of the samurai were not just about honor and duty. They also encompassed a series of brutal and often fatal customs that reveal the harsh and unforgiving nature of samurai life. In this video, we will explore some of these darker aspects, shedding light on the rituals that defined, and sometimes ended, the lives of these legendary warriors. Seppuku, the ultimate act of honor. One of the most well-known yet gruesome aspects of samurai culture is the ritual of seppuku, or harakiri. This form of ritual suicide was considered the ultimate act of honor for a samurai who had been disgraced or defeated. Seppuku was not just an impulsive act of self-destruction, but a highly formalized ceremony. The samurai would dress in white robes, symbolizing purity, and prepare a written death poem reflecting on his life and impending death. The act itself involved the samurai plunging a short blade, called a tanto, into his abdomen and making a left-to-right cut to alleviate prolonged suffering. A second, known as a kaishakinin, would then decapitate the samurai with a swift stroke of a katana. This was not an easy task, as the cut needed to be precise to ensure a quick death while preserving the dignity of the deceased. Seppuku was a clear demonstration of the samurai's commitment to their code, but it also underscored the severe consequences of failure or dishonor in their society. Jigai, the female counterpart to seppuku. While seppuku was predominantly a male practice, samurai women also had their own form of ritual suicide, known as jigai. Samurai women, particularly the wives of samurai warriors, were expected to follow strict codes of conduct. In the event of their husband's death or to avoid capture and dishonor by enemies, women would commit jigai. Unlike seppuku, jigai involved cutting the throat, usually with a tanto. The woman would tie her legs together before the act to ensure a dignified posture in death. Jigai was a stark reminder of the rigid societal expectations placed on women in samurai culture. It highlighted the severe consequences for those who could not conform to these expectations, revealing the harsh reality of life for women in feudal Japan. Kamikaze, the divine wind. The term kamikaze is often associated with the suicide pilots of World War II, but its origins date back to the samurai era. The word translates to divine wind and originally referred to the typhoons that destroyed invading Mongol fleets in the 13th century. This concept of self-sacrifice for the greater good was deeply ingrained in samurai culture. During the Edo period, samurai were sometimes ordered to carry out kamikaze missions. These missions involved charging into battle with the intent of dying honorably in combat. The expectation was that their deaths would inspire their comrades and demoralize the enemy. Kamikaze missions were a brutal reminder of the extent to which samurai were willing to go to uphold their honor and duty, even at the cost of their lives. Tsujigiri, the practice of street killing. Another dark aspect of samurai culture was the practice of tsujigiri, or street killing. This gruesome ritual involved a samurai testing his new sword on an unsuspecting passerby, usually during the night. The practice was especially prevalent during the Sengoku period, a time of constant warfare and social upheaval. Tsujigiri was ostensibly about ensuring the sharpness and effectiveness of a new blade, but it also served as a demonstration of a samurai's prowess and fearlessness. The practice was eventually outlawed, but not before it claimed countless innocent lives. Tsujigiri is a stark reminder of the brutality that could accompany the samurai's quest for honor and superiority. Giri and on. The burdens of obligation and duty. In addition to their martial duties, samurai were also bound by a complex web of social obligations known as giri and on. Giri refers to the duty and obligation one owes to others, while on is the debt of gratitude one must repay. These concepts were central to samurai life and often dictated their actions and decisions. The pressure to fulfill these obligations could be immense. Failure to uphold one's giri or repay on could result in severe social repercussions, including the loss of status and honor. In extreme cases, it could even lead to seppuku. The rigid adherence to these social codes reveals the immense psychological burden placed on samurai, as they navigated a world where personal honor and social duty were inextricably linked. The role of ronin, masterless samurai. The life of a samurai was closely tied to their loyalty to a master, or daimyo. However, when a samurai's master was killed or disgraced, the samurai would become a ronin, or masterless warrior. Being a ronin was a difficult and often dishonorable position. Without a master to serve, ronin were seen as outcasts and were often forced to wander in search of new employment or engage in menial labor. The most famous example of ronin in Japanese history is the story of the 47 ronin. These samurai avenged their master's death by killing the responsible party, after which they were ordered to commit seppuku for the crime of murder. Their story has been romanticized as a tale of loyalty and honor, but it also underscores the precarious and often tragic existence of ronin in samurai society. The Code of Bushido, an unyielding moral framework. The Code of Bushido, or the Way of the Warrior, was the ethical and moral framework that guided the samurai's actions and decisions. Bushido emphasized virtues such as loyalty, honor, courage, and self-discipline. While these principles are often celebrated, they also imposed a rigid and unforgiving standard on the samurai. The demands of Bushido could lead to severe consequences for those who failed to live up to its ideals. For example, a samurai who showed cowardice in battle or disloyalty to their master might be ordered to commit seppuku. This unyielding moral framework left little room for personal failure or human weakness, contributing to the harsh realities of samurai life. Now, the training and education of samurai, a rigorous regimen from a young age. Samurai were subjected to rigorous training and education designed to prepare them for their roles as warriors and leaders. This training included not only martial arts and weaponry, but also subjects such as literature, poetry, and philosophy. Samurai were expected to be well-rounded individuals, capable of both intellectual and physical excellence. The training regimen was intense and demanding, often involving long hours of practice and study. Failure to meet the high standards set for samurai could result in severe punishment or disgrace. This rigorous education system was a double-edged sword, producing highly skilled and disciplined warriors, but also imposing immense pressure and expectations on them from an early age. The role of religion and spirituality. Religion and spirituality played a significant role in the lives of samurai. Many samurai adhered to Zen Buddhism, which emphasized meditation, mindfulness, and the acceptance of death. These spiritual practices were intended to help samurai maintain their composure and clarity of mind in the face of danger and death. Shinto, the indigenous religion of Japan, also influenced samurai beliefs and practices. The reverence for ancestors and the natural world inherent in Shinto shaped the samurai's worldview and their sense of duty and honor. The integration of these spiritual traditions into samurai life provided a sense of purpose and resilience, but also added another layer of complexity to their already demanding existence. The feudal system and samurai hierarchy. The samurai existed within a strict feudal system that dictated their roles and responsibilities. At the top of this hierarchy was the shogun, the military ruler of Japan, followed by powerful daimyo, or feudal lords, who controlled vast territories and commanded armies of samurai. Below the daimyo were the samurai themselves, who served as the enforcers of the shogun's and daimyo's will. This hierarchical system created a rigid social structure, with each level bound by obligations of loyalty and service to those above them. The feudal system reinforced the importance of honor and duty in samurai culture, but it also perpetuated a cycle of violence and conflict as different factions vied for power and influence. The decline of the samurai. The decline of the samurai began in the late 19th century with the Meiji Restoration, a period of rapid modernization and westernization in Japan. The samurai class, which had dominated Japanese society for centuries, found their traditional roles and privileges increasingly undermined by the new government. The abolition of the feudal system and the creation of a modern conscript army marked the end of the samurai as a distinct warrior class. Many former samurai struggled to adapt to the new social and economic realities, leading to a period of significant upheaval and adjustment. The decline of the samurai was a poignant end to a storied and often brutal legacy. The legacy of samurai rituals. Despite their decline, the legacy of samurai rituals and the Code of Bushido continue to influence Japanese culture and society. The ideals of honor, loyalty, and self-discipline remain deeply ingrained in the national consciousness, and the romanticized image of the samurai endures in popular culture. However, it is important to remember the darker aspects of this legacy, the harsh and often brutal realities faced by samurai, the rigid social expectations, and the severe consequences of failure or dishonor. By acknowledging both the positive and negative aspects of samurai culture, we can gain a more nuanced understanding of these legendary warriors and their place in history. In conclusion, the samurai were much more than just skilled warriors. They were products of a complex and often harsh social and cultural system. Their rituals and practices, while rooted in principles of honor and duty, also reveal a darker side characterized by brutality, rigid expectations, and the ever-present threat of violence. By exploring these aspects, we gain a deeper appreciation for the complexities of samurai life and the enduring impact of their legacy on Japanese culture. If you enjoyed this epic journey, please subscribe to our channel for more thrilling historical tales. Don't miss out on new videos. Hit the notification bell to stay updated.